What is up, YouTube? So today I want to do a video with the topic of if you held your uni, how much hex would you have right now? Lovely question. This is a very interesting question, to be honest, because we know a lot of hexagons got a lot of uni coins, and a lot of them sold them very fast. Uh, and to stake long in hex. But it is kind of interesting now to kind of do the math. I think this math is very inspiring because you can kind of see, wow, I could have had that, but I did this. It's like there's no right and wrong, but it's funny to do the math and see like this whole thing is really true. That like holding may actually pay off, and we're in this like time period now where if you're very lazy you may actually do better because you may actually forgot you got a bunch of coins there, and they may just grow, especially if you got like one of these random airdrops that you didn't like expect to get. So let's do the math. Okay, so we know with uni per ETH address you got 400 uni. So if you use like 5 addresses, you got 5 times 400 uni. So let's do the math now. Now, if you look at the market cap, the market or the price of uni at the moment, the Uniswap token, it's $33, and it seems like it's going up to $40 or $50 quite soon. So when I did the math, it was like, okay, this was in September. Like, should you sell your uni? It was around $5 then for hex. And the question was, well, is uni going to go to $100? And at that time, it felt not so likely. It was like, yeah, it may happen, but selling it for hex looked like a better deal, I think, for many people. So, but now it's like, okay, we're seeing the math volume going into uni, and it seems like even $100 may be a low estimate. I don't want to moon boy it too much here, but it seems like it may actually hit $100 and go beyond that, maybe even become a top third crypto quite soon. May even pass Ethereum, if you ask me. Because you look at, okay, Ethereum 5 years in, right? It wasn't that long ago, Ethereum was down to 80 to $100. I remember seeing $80 Ethereum and was considering, okay, should you buy this? This looks like a really good deal. And Uniswap is almost half that at the moment. Like, yeah, it's getting close to $40. Yeah, it's getting close. So, so it's not even a year old. Okay, the Uni token is not even a year old, and it's almost 50% of what Ethereum was like a year ago. Uh, so so that's interesting. Ethereum 5 years old, Uni not even a year old. It seems like it's going places. And you look at the Uni liquidity, 4 billion liquidity. It's pretty high. Um, so okay, let's do the math. So we in September last year, one Uni airdrop 400 tokens was around $2,000. Now let's do the math. Now it's $13,000. $13,000 per ETH address. Okay, so if we look at the hex price at the moment, it's 85% of 1 cent. So let's take 13,200 and let's see. You would have 1.5 million hex per 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 address. Per address you swapped. If you did the Uniswap V1 or V2 transfers, you would have 1.5 million hex per transfer. 1.5 million hex per ETH address. So wow. So if you had 10 ETH addresses that got the uni airdrop, you would have 50 million hex right now. Yeah, 15 million hex. That's a lot. That's a lot. Now, in the early days of hex, 15 million hex was not really that much, because you could get around, I think, a million hex for you can get a million hex for, I think, $300, and now it's like almost 10K. That's a big difference. I remember people buying 500K hex for $50, and they felt very edgy. They felt very, very edgy doing that. So wow. uh, okay, so let's divide that by 10 again. Okay, so let's just play with the idea that you would stake those 400 unicorns right now, 1.5 million hex. Let's say you would stake that for a year. Let's type that in and let's see. 1552941. Let's say if you would stake for a year, okay, you would make a profit of 312,000 hex in a year, which is around $2,500 in interest in 1 year, which is kind of funny because that amount, $2,600, that is more than what the Uni airdrop was worth in September 2020. So you would already get that again in a year of staking if you were just allowing it to sit passively. Now let's say you would have 10 addresses. In 1 year, you would make a profit of 3 million hex, 3,266,000 hex, which if you would have 10 ETH addresses that got the Uni airdrop, that would be, wow, $27,000. $27,000 in interest in 1 year. Wow, that's so crazy. Because if we divide that by $2,000, that would be like in September of 2020 to get almost 14 uni airdrops. You would be like almost getting, let's see, wow, 5,520 uni tokens in September 2020. When I do these numbers, I think it's very inspiring. Like, it's quite inspiring because you can see, like, even if you barely had anything, like if you just did one transaction, you would be, and you just held the unicorns, you would have 1.5 million hex right now if you did if you then did a transaction from uni to hex on this date. Now that's very cool. That's very cool, to be honest. Let's just play with the idea that you would only stake 1.5 million for 30 days. So let's see how much that adds up to. So if you staked one uni airdrop of 400 tokens right now and you haven't held it all this period, if you staked it for 1 month, 30 days, you would get 25,000 hex, which amounts to $212, which is pretty good. Now, since the end stake cost is pretty expensive, let's see what an end stake would cost right now. Yeah, right now the gas fee to end the hex stake, it's $135, which means if you would use stake to and get interest, like 30-day interest, $212, and you put minus $135, you would only make a profit after the gas fee of like $77 in 30 days. So this is pretty obvious why the average hex stake length is going up to above, right now, above 5 years. I want to go into the stake graph and see how long time it is right now. Uh, let's see, what's the average? Now the average duration is 5.10 years, average hex stake. It seems like it's going up to 6 years, and who even knows what this is going to be in maybe 2 years from now, probably 7 or 8 years eventually. Okay, so let's just say someone had um, 10 addresses, okay? Or wait, let's try with 5 years. Okay, 1.5 million hex, and you staked it for 1,825 days, or let's see, 365 times 3 or times 5. Yeah, 1825 days. You would get, how much is this? Oh, you would get one and a half, you would get another 1.5 million hex. So you would end up in 5 years with 3 million hex. Now, what's interesting is hex, if you would like, if you would, you just want to get your principal back. So if you did a 5 year stake, you can get your principal back like that 1.5 million in 2.5 years. So what, 5 years seems like a long time. But if someone just want to get their principal back, they only need it, only the half of the time need to go. So it's not really that long. Like, imagine, like, okay, so Hex launched 2019 December. We're soon in 2022. I mean, how many years is that? Like 2019, 20, 21. I mean, we all are. It's like time flies. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this develops over time. Because okay, we can already measure here with the math that it's not profitable at all to make like these short stakes, like 30 days, even 365 days. So it seems like most people are gonna go for those like 5 year stakes eventually. So Hex is extremely long term. And also it's like, I'm not even adding in here like the T-shares that you should be seeing, that you're getting, because it's like later guys, they're gonna have to pay more to get the same amount of T-shares, and that the share price is always going up. So you probably would end up you would probably end up with more hex than 3 million hex here after 5 years, because how the share price system work. But I am not exactly the expert on that, but I think that is basically how it works. But let's just say, okay, so let's play with the idea that someone had 10 uni addresses. Okay, so they staked 15 million hex right now. 15. This is actually a good question. I mean, okay, if you would buy 15 million hex right now, Um, it's a good question. Like, can you even do that? Because this is another thing about the liquidity. So, okay, so 15 million hex. Let's say, let's go to the Uniswap market and have a look at this. What happens if you would put in 33 times 4,000, 10 addresses, $132,000. Let's see how many hex you would get if you would like try to buy it in one go. Because this is quite interesting, because it may not be possible. But would you get 15 million? It's a good question. App.uniswap.org, let's see. Okay, so I can just type in uni here, input 4,000 uni. Okay, so you wouldn't actually get exactly 15 million hex. If you had 10 addresses right now, you would get around 14 million hex. So it's a slippage of around 8%. But it's still pretty close. Like if you would, let's say you would buy in slower, you probably would end up with, yeah, closer to 15 million hex. But that's something here that's kind of interesting to have a look at. So, and this is also very interesting now, because it's like, okay, This math at the moment is being done when uni is $33, but we know that just a few months ago it was around $8. So let's say uni goes up to $100. That it wouldn't be 15 million hex anymore. It would be, let's do the math. That's $400,000. $400,000. How many hex would you get for $400,000? So I'm just gonna put in USDC here and convert to hex, and let's say it was $400,000. Let's see. Yeah, this is very interesting. Like if you would get some insane slippage here. Like you wouldn't get, like if you try to buy in slow, maybe over a year, you can probably end up with around 45. You can end up probably with like 45 million hex then. Like if uni goes to $100 and we say, let's say the hex price stays around the same. Um, yeah, if uni goes to $100, which is a 3x from here, that if you had like 10 uni addresses, that would be 45 million hex, which is pretty impressive. Okay, so 45 million hex. Now, if you would try to buy it instantly, like with like a 400k buy order, you would only get 36 million hex. So you can see that the slippage such to become pretty high in hex when it starts to be numbers above $100,000 of like a buy order, which is this is because of the change in liquidity, that the liquidity change from, I think it was around 5 to 6 million US dollars to around a million US dollars. So that's pretty interesting there, to consider. Uh, yeah, so I think this is inspiring, like because I don't think uni is like the last thing to kind of drop coins onto people, because you have a lot of these like side chain, like everyone is doing this. Everyone is now starting to do these staking system. I think Cardano is doing it. uh, a bunch of other products that I want to talk a little bit about. Everyone is starting to do these staking systems where it's like you're locking up coins and you're getting more coins, and and I don't see a reason why that wouldn't like intensify, like why we wouldn't get like more of those things. So it's also interesting here if we take like, okay, let's say we take a 15 million hex, like if we imagine those 10 uni addresses, 4,000 uni buying right now, and let's say, actually let's go down to 14 million, because if you would buy it instantly it would be 14 million hex. Let's say you're not that patient. Let's say you would stake that for 30 days. Yeah, it would be around, in profit, 353,000 hex per month. And at the current price, that's around 3,000. That's around $3,000 profit per month. That's pretty cool. I think that's very cool, because if you're only locked up for 30 days, um, yeah, that's very interesting. So so you're starting to have these like huge systems where people in a decentralized way is earning trustless interest, with smart contracts, that doesn't involve third parties, and this is very inspiring, I think. And yeah, so to summarize, like one person that just like, let's say, used Uniswap a lot in 2020, they could already this year have around $3,000 in interest per month, liquid. Because if you only staked here for 30 days and you stay that over and over and over again, it's like you're always like super liquid. um I think that's very inspiring. even if, like, let's say someone like okay, let's say they had like one address and they sold it like, okay, $2,000. um I don't know exactly. Let's see how much was the hex price. um let's see how much the hex price was before October. So it was, okay, it was 0.004. So you got around a million. Yeah, you got around, no, you got around half a million hex in September for one address. uh, because hex was like lower in price, but now you will get around 3x more because hex also went up in price, which is why it's not like 10x more. So that can also be kind of interesting there to know. um, so yeah, I mean, I think this is very inspiring, uh, because like now I haven't even counted like if hex also would go up. Like, let's say hex were to go up to 3 cents, and then those like $3,000 like passive liquid for the guy with like 10 addresses taken for 30 days, that would be like 9K a month. It's kind of cool. Like, it's very cool to do this kind of math. Like, I love smart contracts, and I want to see more of these things. And I think like it's gonna be very interesting to follow Uni. Uh, it's gonna be interesting to see if it's gonna challenge Ethereum on a real, like, in a real big way. Because we know, okay, so we had like last year, first we had a Uniswap V1 exchange, and then we got V2 that was like so much better. And now this year, they're gonna launch V3, which is gonna be even better. And yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to follow, like to see how high it can go, because we don't know if it actually. It would be interesting to see more flippening. uh, like, we have coins that always flip, these boring coins like XRP, and yeah, these like lame coins, they're not really doing anything. It's not really a challenge. It would be more interesting to see more coins flip Ethereum and Bitcoin, and kind of see maybe how that can change the crypto landscape kind of culture. Because even though decentralized exchanges are kind of growing a lot, even still, like in 2021, like centralized exchanges have like a massive role, and then most people still own those kind of systems, mainly because decentralized exchanges hasn't gone fully mainstream yet, and that there still are like super expensive to like trade on. That at the moment it could be like 20 to $50 for one transaction, but that is kind of getting improved here soon, eventually probably with V3 and a bunch of new layer 2 solutions like ZK Swap have a solution up, QuickSwap has a solution up and running, where it's like way cheaper to like use decentralized exchanges, and with ZK rollup and zero knowledge proofs. So probably decentralized exchanges, their big year is probably going to be like 2022, 2023. And yeah, I mean, if Uni can be $33 now, I mean, it seems like it's going $100 plus eventually. That can be very interesting to follow, because I personally, what I like when like coins on a decentralized exchange is getting popular is, at least it's like making more people pay attention to like decentralized exchanges, which is something that we want to see more of, you know. So yeah, okay, so math here, you would make, around 3x more. I mean, you would make, yeah, it's like if you held, um, you're still making like, it's like, let's say someone like sold their uni for Hex in like September. And if they're doing these like 5 or 10 or like 15-year long Hex stakes, in the long term, it still doesn't really matter that much. Like if you would get, let's say you would get another extra 100 or 200K right now. I mean, in the long term, would that even matter? Like years down the line, because if you're staked for like so far into the future, it's probably gonna matter less and less and less eventually. When people really see what is undervalued, like I think Hex is like super undervalued at the moment. It's like if you do the math, it should be around 25 cents a coin at least. Um, so it's like 25x or like 30x undervalued right now. And then I think it can go even higher. But it's an interesting time to like see how things progress. So that's a little bit what I want to talk a little bit about today. Like, how much more Hex would you have if you if you would have just held a little longer? It is very interesting. At the same time, it's very easy to be like smart after you've seen how stuff goes. Like Uni could have also just failed completely and just like go to almost nothing super fast, but it decided to not do that. Yeah, that's a little bit what I want to talk a little bit about. Yeah, you would just have so much more if you do the math. Hmm. So yeah, very cool. I want to talk about some interesting things in some other videos. It's nice to see that Bitcoin is on the up again, 51K. Ethereum is almost $1,800 again. Yeah, this is very cool. The price action looks amazing, to be honest, on so many coins. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, have a great day, YouTube.